thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
Trying to direct a film with a great story and a nice amount of action, and you know, for it to be visual, but you're also dealing with themes of with faith, you know, and the Bible. So every step of the way, whether it's what we're editing in and what we're editing out, what we're putting in sonically, especially when it comes to music, is critical. So it was a process, a long process, because there was versions of this film that you may have thought was made by a Christian. There's versions of this film where, you know, when music, whatever, this probably were corny, because we were trying sounds and things to figure out what that balance was.
I mean, that went all the way into editing, even taking out bits of dialogue. You know, the word or two here, it could have been God, it could have been this. It's like, okay, let's take that out because that's too much information early on, or it's tipping the balance too much.
Is that thing loaded? I don't think it's loaded.
One way to find out.
We had 4 or 5 different versions of the, you know, the screenplay to work with that they had developed, and we went back to a lot of Gary's original stuff, and you know, mixed and matched that, and then he went back and did some rewrites, and then we brought Peckham back in and did some work with him, and then brought Gary back and did some more with him, and you know, cut and paste, and I did a lot of it. You know, I would play all the characters. We'd be up at my house, and I'd play all the characters and add little things like the line when that Gary Oldman actually says, "Pray for me, I mean it." You know, I just one day was working stuff out, and I said, "Hey, would I get right down on top of him almost and say that?"
I love this guy. I love this guy. Shoot him, please.
This Carnegie guy is a sort of multifaceted, quite a complex individual. I mean, I've not really been in the neighborhood of with this kind of character for like 10 years. What with Harry Potter and Batman, you know. So it was nice to sort of get back and, you know, sort of chew the scenery up a bit.
People keep comparing SOLARA to Max Payne, and you know, in Max Payne, I wore like leather pants and leather boots and stood there, and could have been a cardboard cutout and wouldn't have made a difference. I think this is completely different. I mean, SOLARA is not a mafia gun-toting superhero. She's your everyday young girl who chooses to live light instead of give up on life, and by circumstances knows how to shoot a gun and use a grenade.
You can shoot a gun?
Of course.
Come on. We know you're in there. Come on out and nobody needs to get hurt.
If you're the good guy, you're only as good as the bad guy. If you're the bad guy, you're only as good as the good guy. You know, I mean, working with Gene Hackman makes Crimson Tide work. Working with a strong actor like Ethan Hawke makes Training Day work. Obviously working with a great actor like Gary Oldman. If he were a weak actor, if there was a weak actor in that part, then what I'm doing, it doesn't resonate.
Put a crew together, we're going after him. Book. It's not a book. It's a weapon. A weapon aimed right at the hearts and minds of the weak and the desperate. It will give us control of them. If we want to rule more than one small town We have to have it.
I think that's what he recognizes in Eli. You know, that is something that he may have that strength of character and that faith, that immovable sort of faith that Eli has, was maybe something that Carnegie had a long time ago. And it's just trying to put together some sense of order in all of this, you know, chaos.
Get down! Everybody get down!